Welcome, everybody. Luxury Fridays. Michael LaFido coming to you live from Atlanta. I am speaking at a conference here today, and it just kicked off by EPM Mortgage. What an amazing story by that founder. I'll talk to you a little bit about that here in a minute. Again, Michael LaFido here. You're in the right place. If you're an agent, you're a team leader, you're a broker owner, we'd love to hear from you. To make sure that we can hear you okay, do me a favor and just type in the comment section where you're watching from, where you're listening from, and that will allow me to know that you can hear me okay. So go ahead and type in the comment section, if you would, where you're listening from, where you're watching from, and we are going to be taking some questions as well. So I want to make sure I type in the chat feature. If you guys have questions, please go ahead, and you don't have to download anything. You literally click on that link that I just dropped in there. So anyways, hopefully you're having a great Friday. I am also streaming this on Instagram. For those of you that are watching on Instagram, the easiest way to ask me a question is to do so through my YouTube channel. So go to Marketing Luxury Group. We're streaming this live on that channel, Marketing Luxury Group, and you can ask your questions right then and there, since I won't be able to answer them on Instagram. So we are, I guess, having some problems with the Facebook stream, which time to time happens, but we're doing a good job on YouTube. I got somebody watching from Naperville, Illinois, which is great. And again, technology sometimes throws you curveballs, but we are streaming this on a few Facebook platforms and our YouTube channel. Again, same time, usually same place every Friday, Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido, live from my hotel room here in Atlanta, speaking at a conference today. And we typically are going to be doing these at 11 a.m. Central, not 9 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Central. However, I present today, and so we had to bump it up. So you're in the right place. If you're an agent, you're a team leader, you're a broker owner, and I've also encouraged some consumers to jump on here. So if you're a client of mine and we're friends through social media and you have a real estate question, by all means, let me know what that question is. Again, if you have, you can type in your question, or if you want to jump on and be a little bit more interactive, I have included the link in the chat feature. You don't have to download anything. You literally click on that link. I can bring you on audio, and I can also bring you on camera. And so if you're driving, make sure you be safe. Make sure your eyes are on the road, etc. Because last week I was on a Zoom training, and this young lady kept asking questions, but I got a little nervous because she was driving and her eyes were more on the camera and not the road. So be safe out there. Again, if you're on Instagram watching this, I would encourage you to go to YouTube and type in Marketing Luxury Group is our channel. Subscribe. You'll see the live stream, and you can ask questions right there. If you have a question, please type it in. But I want to talk to you about this morning's message at this EPM conference that I spoke at. I'm pretty excited to be presenting here. Gary Vanderchuk, his sisters speaking. Emmett Smith was here speaking. A shark from Shark Tank is presenting. Draymond, who started the clothing line, as you know, he's on Shark Tank. He presents tomorrow. So a pretty great group to share the stage with. Again, just a couple things. If you haven't done so, I do recommend you guys check out our book. It's called Luxury Listing Specialists. It's on Amazon, and we get a lot of great comments from people that are learning some really cutting edge strategies there. But today, Eddie, who is the founder of EPM, he talked about not the American dream, but he talked about the American gift. And as our country is far from perfect, it's still the standard for others. You know, we have people coming over all the time to this country because of the opportunity. So sometimes we need a reminder. And Emmitt Smith was talking about last night at dinner. Emmitt Smith, the Hall of Fame NFL running back who's got more yards rushing than anybody else, that he grew up in kind of a poorer community. And then he, in his adult life, went back, I believe he said someplace in Africa, and he realized that even in the poor community that he lived in here in the States, it was much better situation than in other countries. So sometimes we need a fresh perspective, I guess, for all of us to remind ourselves. So that was a good reminder. And the American gift was the message Eddie talked about today, the American gift. So, you can't control others. And he's talking about he's in the lending business and the real estate business. So sometimes it's competitive, as you can imagine. And what he talked about is, you can't control others. But one of the things you can control, of course, is yourself. So if you continue to try to better yourself, even 1%, right? Get yourself better, not just a mindset, but building others up. It's really the compound effect. It trickles. So if you get frustrated and you're not seeing the results you want, and maybe team members or associates, just continue to work on yourself and get better. And that's just a great reminder for ourselves. Again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Michael LaFido. I'm the founder of the LUXE designation, Luxury Listing Specialist. We have some amazing events coming up that you might be interested in. One of those events is in Texas. We're coming down to Texas a month from today, actually. A month from today, we are coming to Texas, and we're doing our training down there. So I put that across the screen right now. If you're interested, it's 1 month from today. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be just outside of San Antonio. If you're looking to differentiate yourself in 2022, if you're looking to work smarter, not harder, and increase your average sale price, you should seriously consider going to our event in Texas. It's flying to San Antonio. We're going to be at a winery, the Edge Winery. We're going to do our full day designation training on Thursday. Friday morning, we're going to tour a couple local mansions on the market. And then we are offering an optional VIP lunch in the afternoon with wine tasting. So check that out by going to luxurydesignation.com/Texas. We just did our training last week in Denver. We had 30 agents. I think we had 9 states represented. The feedback was absolutely amazing. I had one agent that flew in from Florida, and she said, this is absolutely what I needed personally. So again, that's our goal, is to help agents break down barriers, to increase their knowledge, grow their confidence, network with other top luxury agents. And that's what we do at our live events. So all the details can be found at luxurydesignation.com/Texas. If you are an agent in Texas, you'll also get continuing education, as we have 4 courses approved for CE there. And if you're not from Texas, come on down. That's where, again, we'll probably have half the attendees. We'll probably have half of the attendees just do that. So with that being said, those that are watching on Instagram, Instagram does not automatically push out through the service we use. So I'm doing Instagram on my phone. That's why the angle's a little bit different, and I won't make as much eye contact with you. But if you're on Instagram, I recommend you go to YouTube, go to Marketing Luxury Group, and you'll see this video being streamed live there. And you can ask questions of me there, or just watch it on Instagram if you don't have any questions. All right. So let's see if we have any comments, any questions. We have Naperville. Anybody else watching that has a question, please ask it. I'm your host, Michael LaFido, and I want to talk a little bit about a term that I learned last week, and I know the concept. I've learned the concept. Again, one of the things I'm always trying to get better, to bring more value to my agents, to the stages I speak on. And I'm very familiar with the concept, what I'm about to say, but the term was something that really hit home. And that term is called repetitive engagement. Let me say that again, repetitive engagement. Repetitive engagement, like my good friend Eric Sachs talked about from Breakthrough Broker, repetitive engagement is being top of mind awareness to your database, your sphere, people that know you, like you, trust you for whatever you're passionate about, repetitive engagement. So obviously being a licensed agent as well, when somebody's thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Chicagoland market, repetitive engagement would be you're at least in the conversation. They might not hire you, but hopefully they interview you, or at least they consider you, and maybe they do some additional due diligence. And that's what repetitive engagement is. If you're a football coach and you are trying to hold your players accountable in the off season, repetitive engagement would be staying in communication with your football team so that on that cold Friday afternoon when they could go home and play video games or do something like that, they stick around and they work out in the weight room because their competition is probably doing that. That's repetitive engagement. Okay. It's top of mind awareness, repetitive engagement. So that's a term that I want you to familiarize yourself with. One of the lenders that I work with exclusively, he's out of Elmhurst. His name's John Nolden. He's with Guaranteed Rate. John Nolden is like the mayor of Elmhurst. This guy, you talk about repetitive engagement. You can't go anywhere in the town of Elmhurst, Illinois, without seeing John Nolden's name or his face somewhere. And he does an amazing job. He's actively involved in the community. He's like the mayor of Elmhurst, Illinois. But repetitive engagement is a term that I wanted to talk a little bit about. And I want to open it up right now. If anybody has questions, by all means, if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this live on whatever platform you're watching this live, I've copied and pasted, and I'll put it in here again in the comment section, the StreamYard link. Just literally click on that link and you will be able to, it'll pop up on my studio right here, and I'll be able to bring you on camera, or at least audio, be able to listen to you. Last week, we brought on an agent out of the Pennsylvania area. He's a Keller Williams agent. He took our course and he shared a success story on how he sold a $5 million property in Pennsylvania recently, and how that's helped him attract more opportunities. By the way, we did just release our 174th episode, and I'm gonna hopefully have that guest on today. He's going to try to pop on here, Marcus Ogden. Marcus played in the NFL. His brother's a Hall of Fame left tackle, was with the Baltimore Ravens, Jonathan Ogden. So hopefully Marcus Ogden's going to be popping on here today, and he talked on his episode that we've released yesterday about emotional intelligence, being in the moment, being empathetic to your listeners, emotional intelligence. But again, our podcast, we just released his episode yesterday, and the URL for that, if you're not on iTunes, if you're on iTunes, go to Luxury Listing Specialist on iTunes. If you're not an iTunes listener, you can go straight to our website, which is for the podcast, which is just luxurylistingpodcast.com, Luxury Listing Podcast. That was our 174th episode. We're always looking for more guests on our podcast, and we're always looking for additional guests on Luxury Fridays. So if you have a question, or you feel like you're providing value in your industry, in the real estate industry, you're doing something different, unique, whether it be lead generation, whether it be conversion, whether it be customer experience, whether it be follow-up, by all means, reach out to me, shoot me a private note. Again, you can go to joinluxgroup.com. That's probably the best way to find me, is go to joinluxgroup.com. And when you go to joinluxgroup.com, you can also find out more information about our upcoming live in-person events. But there's also a form there. Our group, our organization is growing. We're in all 50 states and in 21 countries. I am a licensed real estate agent with EXP. I'm not here to recruit you. However, if you want to hear a little bit more about what we're doing and what we're building, and you want to see what's out there, go to Join Lux Group and shoot me a private message. I would love to share with you why I left the number one company in Illinois, hands down, and and why I joined EXP, and what we're doing is really exciting and special. And we're putting together some amazing training and resources, and we have just an amazing organization. So again, if you never want to join EXP, that's okay. Please join us on Luxury Fridays. But if you want to explore and see what else is out there from a compensation standpoint, from a various benefit standpoint, from a training and support and resources standpoint, by all means, go to joinluxegroup.com. I just did a lunch and learn this week. We had 51 agents. Whoa, there's my phone. Sorry, Instagram guys. We just did a lunch and learn this week, and we had 51 agents at our lunch and learn, and we had 51 agents there. And I can't tell you how many agents came up to us, and they were with all brands. I mean, big brokerages, independents, and I can't tell you how many of them talked about how thirsty they are for additional training and support. And that's something that, we really are building in our organization, a consistent trainings for agents and brokers, but also support system where if they have a question, they can get them answered. They can get their question answered fairly quickly. So again, I'm here today to answer any questions for you. Again, just so I can do a check that I know you're listening and you can hear me okay. Do me a favor and just type in the chat box where you're listening from. And if you have a question, type in that chat box what your question is and what you're hoping to get out of today's Luxury Fridays. I might be able to read comments. I see Dugan. I think, Dugan, you're listening. Dugan, type in a comment if you would. And I want to see if I can answer or at least read a comment in real time on Instagram. Be interested to see if I can do that. But we are makeshift studio coming live from Atlanta. I got Oklahoma. Thanks, Hannah. Colhane Company, Scottsdale. Shelly, Denver. Yeah, I was in Denver last week, Shelly. No big deal. But hey, we are coming to Texas. As you can see from our screen, we're coming to Texas. And if you like wine, it might be a better destination. I do feel like, and I mentioned this last week, I mentioned this to the local agents in Denver that attended my training. Sometimes it's most difficult to attend a local training. So, for example, the host, Tara, did a great job. I was hoping to see her husband, Cody, at the training, but their daughter was homesick and they had responsibilities as parents. And if you get on a plane, those little fires you can't put out from, a couple hundred miles away. And so sometimes you're more engaged and you're more focused when you get on a plane to go to a training than if it's a couple minutes away from the house. So again, I'm coming to you from EPMX training, their big mortgage real estate conference. I'm speaking today. And I share that with you because there's 350, 400 people in the room today. And even if a third of them are local, it's going to be more difficult for the third of those agents attending today's training and tomorrow's to focus and digest the notes, to prioritize, hey, what am I going to implement after going to this training? It's going to be a lot easier for somebody like myself who flew on a plane, that when I have my 2-hour plane ride and I'm waiting to get on my plane, I can go through all my notes and reprioritize. I like prioritizing my daily to-dos in an A, B, and C list. A, highest priority. B, I'd like to get them done today or this week. C, they don't need to be done immediately, but I want to make sure it gets on the list so we don't forget it. So that's something I've trained my assistant on as well, is doing just that, prioritizing and being able to adapt and tweak and modify. Hey, Larry, how you doing? We got Larry. Larry's in our team and our organization. He started a new Facebook group. If you guys are watching through the group Larry launched, welcome. Please ask any questions. Again, there are no dumb questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, all things luxury. And we, from time to time, will cover a lot of the basic questions if we don't have questions. And I do like covering some of the misconceptions that real estate agents and brokers have when it comes to selling high-end and luxury homes. And one of those misconceptions is you have to be a licensed agent for X a number of years. So 10 years, 20 years. For example, I was a licensed real estate agent for 12, almost 13 years before I really consistently felt that I could sell high-end and luxury real estate. And that's why I launched Luxury Fridays. Is if I were to go back to myself as a licensed agent, brand new agent in 2000, I wish somebody would have told me, you don't have to wait 12 years before you consistently sell high-end and luxury homes. So that's a big misconception. You got to be a seasoned veteran in selling homes for X amount of years before you sell luxury homes. The second is you have to be a licensed agent with some big name company, or maybe the local boutique that specializes in luxury in your given market to sell luxury. That's false as well. You don't have to be with Sotheby's or Compass or whoever it might be. You can be a rock star agent. I just left the #1, hands down, luxury brand in Illinois because, quite honestly, you are your brand as an agent, your database, your sphere, okay, your internal marketing. You need to have a unique value proposition for you, okay? And that's really important. And so many people rely just on the company. The last company I was with is an amazing company. I have nothing bad to say about them. But at the end of the day, their luxury division was Luxury Portfolio, and Luxury Portfolio and Paul Boomza are doing some amazing things. And I've done trainings for Paul, and I did trainings for my last company. And so I know agents are thirsty for more content. Agents are thirsty for more systems to consistently attract and convert those high-end prospects to clients. And just like our modules in our course, our designation modules 8 through 16, modules 8 through 16, this is the workbook. Modules 8 through 16 are focused on best marketing practices. So if you get that high-end or unique property, how are you going to get it sold? Or if you are a buyer's agent and you represent a buyer on a high-end and unique home, how are you going to leverage that so you can consistently attract those types of opportunities? So Shelly out of Denver, awesome. Congratulations on your first stock award with EXP. Luxury Fridays is brand agnostic. It's for all agents, all brokerages. We had people from outside of the North America reach out to us. We might be doing a training in Costa Rica coming up. So I'd love to hear where everybody is. If you're watching a replay of this, please shoot me a note. You can literally go to joinluxegroup.com and shoot me a note, or you can always I'll type in my email address as well, and I would love to hear from you. And if you're getting value from this, please subscribe and leave us a like and a review for our book or our podcast. And my email is just simply michael@marketingluxurygroup.com. That's my email. Should be coming across your screen here for those of you that are watching live or watching the replay. So let's open up for any questions. Anybody that wants to jump in here, I think I'm going to have a special guest. I'm going to have a special Enoch. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Where are you based and what brokerage are you with? Thanks for the question. So I've been a licensed real estate agent since 2000. I started out with Coldwell Banker, and then I went independent. I was independent for years. I was with the #1 brand in Illinois called At Properties. They do about $10 billion in volume. They're an amazing company. Love what they're doing. And the leadership there is absolutely great. I had one of the best brokers ever, a gem by the Jim Barcelona. But this opportunity where I'm currently at was just too great that I couldn't pass on it. So to answer your question, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly, Enoch, I believe. I am with EXP Real Estate. We're in all 50 states and 21 countries. And there's some amazing brokerages out there that you've never heard of. And there's some brokerages out there where there's rock star agents that you've never heard of. And there's some not so good agents at rockstar brokerages. So I do believe that every brand has a unique value proposition, and there's something good at every brokerage. So, but if you are interested in hearing why I left, this is not the time and the place for that, but I'd be happy to have that private conversation with you. Okay, so if any of you have a question that, oh, good, I pronounced it correctly. All right, good. For any of you that do have a question, I did type in the chat feature a link, and I'll type it in again. It's a great place for you guys to literally ask a question, come on camera, and you'll see scrolling across where we have a live event coming up in 1 month from today, luxurydesignation.com. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Anybody that comes to the event, you'll get some goodies. Of course, you're going to get access to our LUXE University, which is 10.5 hours of video training. You'll get our workbook. You'll get a copy of our book. You'll get our objection handling playing cards. You won't get swag, but I'm going to type in where you can get swag. So if you guys like swag, I'm going to type that in here. Go to luxuryspecialistgear.com. That's where you can buy some of our gear. You can buy our objection handling playing cards. Our objection handling playing cards, you can go to luxuryspecialistgear.com. Okay, luxuryspecialistgear.com. Hopefully you guys can see those URLs, luxuryspecialistgear.com. All right. So today, getting back to today's great question, by the way, what's the most difficult part of selling luxury? Well, I would say, Shelly, the most difficult part of selling luxury real estate is getting that at bat, to use a baseball analogy. To use a baseball analogy, if you're a baseball player and you get 3 hits out of every 10 at bats, you hit 300. That's pretty good. You got a good shot of being an all-star if you hit 300. Okay. So getting that at bat, stepping in the batter's box is the most important thing. But the problem with many people today, Shelly, including teenagers and younger kids, is they're afraid of failure. And so many human beings today don't compete because what if they strike out? What if people talk bad about them? So I think it's really important. And welcome from Miami. Thank you for watching from Miami. Again, if you want to ask a question and you're watching this on Instagram, the best way to watch and ask questions is if you go to YouTube and you type in Marketing Luxury Group and hit subscribe, and you'll be able to ask questions. Okay. I got somebody watching this, that in Texas. Hey, this, that, and Texas. Welcome. I'm coming to Texas in a month. Go to luxurydesignation.com/Texas. All right, but getting back to Shelly's question, what's the most difficult part of selling luxury? Well, most human beings don't like to fail. And I do believe if you fail, you'll learn the most. And so getting back to your question, many agents don't even get the opportunity to work with a high-end or a luxury buyer or seller. Now, everybody defines luxury different. Every brand does. I think Keller Williams is $750,000 or more, or top 10%. The company I was with previously at Properties, they define luxury as $1 million and above. So every brand defines luxury differently. For our course, for our designation, we define a luxury home as a home that is priced 3 times the average sale price, 3 times. So if the average sale price is $250,000, well, then it would be $750. If the average sale price is $150, then it would be $450 and above. However, if the average sale price is $1 million, well, then luxury would start at $3 million. That's how we define luxury. I do believe luxury is all relative. I was doing this training once in Kokomo, Indiana. I was a breakout presenter, and somebody came up to me and said, Mike, I'm so glad I came to today's training. I was hesitant because we don't have luxury homes here in Kokomo, but I wanted to come to your presentation. I was actually speaking at Matt Fagioli's Explode conference. Matt is based right here in Atlanta. I'm not sure if I'm going to see Matt at this conference, but Matt, had me speak at it, and the agent said, I'm glad I'm attending because I was hesitant because we don't have a whole lot of luxury here. So luxury is all relative. But most people will never get the opportunity to go on a luxury appointment. And I think the first reason they won't get that opportunity, Shelly, is right here. The what ifs. The what ifs. What if they ask me how many luxury homes have I sold? What if they ask me why I didn't bring a buyer if the home was listed before? What if they ask me, what if, what if, what if? The what ifs in life will drive you nuts, will drive me nuts, and they'll keep you in the dugout from stepping in the batter's box. So don't let the what ifs control you. Okay. What ifs, what ifs. I'm glad I asked my wife to go for a jog that day when I called my father-in-law at the time. He was, someone that I knew, and asked to speak to my wife. The what ifs would have drove me nuts if I never asked to talk to Amy. The what ifs, what ifs. Don't what if yourself. Okay. Don't be a what ifer. No what ifers. Okay. And so that's really important. So Shelly, the most difficult part is getting those what ifs out of the way. What if they ask me how long have I been licensed? What if they ask me how many luxury homes I've sold? What if they ask me, what magazines is their home going to be put in? What if they ask me this? What if the what ifs? And those are some of the most common objections that real estate agents have about breaking into and selling high-end and luxury properties. Yes, I call those limiting beliefs or excuses. That's exactly right, Shelly. Those are limiting beliefs. So some of the limiting beliefs that agents have all the time are you got to be licensed X amount of years before you sell luxury. You got to be with a certain brand or a certain brokerage. You got to be licensed X amount of years before you can sell high-end. You got to drive a nice car, a luxury car, a Bentley, a Rolls Royce. You got to live in a gated community yourself or live in a luxury home to sell luxury. Or you got to live in that community to sell luxury homes. False. That's false. And I think the worst one of them all is I certainly can't sell luxury because there's already blank number of luxury agents in my market. Fill in that blank. That could be 89. If there's 89 luxury real estate agents in your market, I believe there's room for a 90th. If there's 1,876, I believe there's room for 1,877 because you can tell your story better than anybody else. A lot of times we're embarrassed about our story. Maybe you didn't come from a whole lot. The gentleman that started EPM Mortgage, Eddie Perez, told his story today. It was so inspiring. His father came from Cuba, and they came over to the States in the early 1960s to Miami. His father was so bad because his best friend was sent basically a hit list to kill his father. And his father said, what am I doing in a country where I'm being silenced and one of my friends is going to try to kill me? So they stole the canoe, him and 6 others, and they canoed for 3 days and they got to Miami. And that's why he says the American gift. The title of his introduction speech today at this conference I'm speaking at was The American Gift. And it really hit home because it is an American gift. You hear me say this all the time. Our country's so great, even our haters won't leave. Yes, we're far from perfect. Yes, there's a lot of division. Yes, there's still a lot of inequalities here, and we got to continue to raise the bar. I was talking to my good friend who started the LGBTQ Alliance. If you don't know, the LGBTQ Alliance, Ryan and what Ryan and John have done over there has been absolutely amazing. I recommend you Google LGBTQ Alliance, and I could probably find their URL, and let me try to do that while I'm coming to you live here. So do you realize that it's still, it's called realestatealliance.org, realestatealliance.org. I'm going to try to copy this URL for you, realestatealliance.org. Do you realize it's still in 27 states you can discriminate based on, oh, sorry, I got a lot of things going on right here. I'll get that banner off of here. All right. So let me get that banner off. And why is that on there? All right. So do you realize today it's still in 27 states, people can still discriminate based on sexual orientation, and that's what part of the LGBTQ Alliance is, not just raise awareness and initiatives, but it was alarming. But it's all relative. So even as bad as that is, in some countries, if you're openly gay, you can be executed. And so again, it's a matter of perspective. Our country has to get better, but by far, it's by far the world champion, and so much so that even the haters won't leave. So that's one of the things that really resonated with the message that I heard today from Eddie, and it was called the American Gift. Okay, the American Gift. But if you're not a member of the realestatealliance.org, I recommend it. You can use the promo code LUXE, LUXE. I think it's LUXE22. If you use the promo code LUXE, LUXE22, I believe you get 20% off membership. It might be LUXE 2022. So try LUXE 2022 or LUXE 22, and you'll get 20% off, I believe. It'd be $100 off. And it's a great organization. So we got one question. What's the most difficult part of selling luxury? Well, typically high-end and luxury homes, typically those homes are, you have a smaller pool of buyers that can afford them. Okay, so when you have a smaller pool of buyers, okay, usually you have longer days to sit on the market. Okay, and so that's one of the most difficult things about selling a lot of these high-end and luxury properties, is you have a smaller pool of buyers, and you have to position these homes more effectively than the competition as well. So that's a very good question. Any other questions? We have a quiet group today. I know we're starting earlier, so maybe those of you that are Pacific time zone, you're just waking up with us. Welcome to Luxury Fridays. My name is Michael LaFido. Welcome to Luxury Fridays. My name is Michael LaFido, and I'm sharing this with you. I have on the screen Luxury Specialist gear, by the way. If you want some swag, you want some great, hoodies or T-shirts to work out in, long sleeve shirts, or you want to get our objection handling playing cards, check that out. That's pretty cool. I just learned a new thing. So when I type in a URL, and that was the question that Shelly had. What's the most difficult part of selling luxury? See, I'm learning new here, so I can display the questions. So Shelly Ray, that was a great question, and hopefully I answered it. But many times it's the limiting beliefs. But once you do get the listing, one of the most difficult things, Shelly, of selling those high-end and luxury properties is you have a smaller pool of buyers. So you have to look at the competition, other similar priced homes. You got to do a SWOT analysis, SWOT. Okay, if you haven't heard of SWOT before, I'm typing this in, SWOT analysis. Okay, if you haven't done a SWOT analysis before, you should really do that, SWOT analysis. When you are looking at your properties, okay, you should do a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is looking at what the strengths of your property is. That's what S stands for. What are the strengths of your property, your listing? W stands for weakness. What are the weaknesses of your property? What can you downplay? Don't show the bathrooms if the bathrooms are dated. Nothing in Real Estate School 101 says you have to show pictures of every room or every bedroom. Sometimes as an agent, you can show way too much. Maybe you're not showing enough. But sometimes you can show not enough. And then I'll finish up with the SWOT analysis, and then I'll bring Marcus Ogden, my guest, on. I see that he's in the waiting room. Welcome, Marcus. I'll bring you on in 1 minute, okay? So SWOT analysis. So when you're looking at your properties, you need to do a SWOT analysis. S stands for what's the strengths of your property. W stands for what are the weaknesses of the home you represent. O stands for what opportunities. Maybe if you were the second real estate agent or the third, you can highlight something unique about the home or the location or the features. And T stands for threats. Maybe a new listing just came on the market. That is a threat because maybe it offers more features, more square footage, and is priced more competitively than your listing. So that's what a SWOT analysis is. But I don't want to keep our guest any longer. If you recall, we just released his episode. I showed the URL where you guys can look at our podcast, and that's real simple. You can just go to luxurylistingpodcast.com. I'm going to type that in right now, luxurylistingpodcast.com. And my episode with Marcus just hit yesterday. It's awesome. It's all about, and it's on the screen right now, luxurylistingpodcast.com. It's all about emotional intelligence. It's about, well, there's a lot of good things. And rather than me try to bring it, I'm going to bring Marcus on. Marcus, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, welcome. Fridays. I asked Marcus to jump on here last minute yesterday evening. And so thank you so much for taking time. Again, if you guys want to listen to Marcus's episode that just launched yesterday, our 174th episode, go to Luxury Listing Podcast. It's displayed on the screen. Marcus, tell everybody a little bit about you, and don't tell them too much about what we talked about so they can listen to our podcast, but also give them just a quick snapshot of what that is.
So basically, my name is Marcus Ogden. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm a keynote speaker, executive coach, corporate trainer, best-selling author. And we talked about the importance of emotional intellect and how to connect with your audience, your prospective audience, better to help you have that competitive edge, right, Michael, to be successful in your real estate business.
Yeah, we're always talking about the competitive advantage. I just saw this week, Marcus, that there are more licensed realtors, not real estate agents, because there's always more of those, but realtors that belong to the National Association of Realtors. There's more licensed realtors now, today in January of 2022 than ever. There's over 1.5 million. There's over 1.5 million realtors. Everybody knows a real estate agent. So what are you doing to differentiate yourself? And so you talked about the competitive advantage. Your story is so inspiring. I love stories of overachievers. I love stories of athletes that come from smaller schools where typically they're not drafted or they don't make an NFL roster. And you did that yourself and had a great career in the NFL. And that's a competitive, right? So you had to differentiate yourself, maybe not just with the skill set. Of course, that's usually what it comes down to. But how is this athlete from a personality going to fit into our culture and our team and work with others? And are they going to be cancerous? Are they going to be somebody that inspires others, right? And that's really important. The locker room, we learned about it this year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and some things that went on there. And so talk to us a little bit about competitive advantage and what you bring from being a former athlete to being an author and a speaker and inspiring others from all types of industries, Marcus.
So for me, Mike, my competitive edge or our brand's competitive edge is we help you succeed in life where we failed. We're very authentic. We're very real. We give a lot of our information. And also, Mike, what we do is we really open up our network and we really open up our Rolodex to help our clients expand their Rolodex, to expand their practices, their businesses. And you talk a lot about, what it was like in the NFL and all different things about being successful and having to go through this process. There's a saying I live by: maximum effort times maximum effectiveness equals maximum results. You have to give maximum effort in your day as a realtor. That means you have to create your own reality. You have to expand your reality to create your new reality. In your job as a realtor, what you must do is you must give maximum effort. That doesn't mean doing something all the way every once in a while or every other once in a while, every other day. It's doing maximum effort, maximum efficiency, Michael, every single day. And also talking about maximum effectiveness. This is creating a strategy. Michael, I started probably about a week ago. But what I do is I break things down by marketing, sales, operations. So what I do is I write this stuff here. Here's my marketing thing for the week. Okay. Here's my sales for the week. Then here's my operations thing I need to do for the week. Right. And I'm doing this and I'm checking each off and I'm crossing the line. And what I'm doing, Michael, is I am basically giving myself maximum effectiveness and strategy where I'm not wasting time. So many people in business waste time. And if you're going to be successful in business, especially real estate, like you said, 1.5 million realtors right now in 2022, what are you doing in order to really give maximum effort, but having maximum effectiveness? Like, work hard, yet work smarter, right? Be strategic and tactical, right? You need to be a laser, Michael, that can cut through a diamond. Focus like a laser that cuts through a diamond. When you have that mentality, Michael, everything else will take care of itself.
So for those of you that are watching on Instagram, the best way to tune in and watch Marcus, Marcus right now is our guest, and go to YouTube and go to Marketing Luxury Group, and you can watch Marcus watch me live right now. And I put up on the screen what Marcus just talked about: marketing, sales, and operations. So those are your laser focuses. Sounds like on a weekly, each week, you talk from a marketing standpoint. Hey, what can we do to grow our audience, to attract more opportunities? From a sales, taking care of our current clients or converting prospects to clients. And then operations, the logistics side of the business, which isn't always the most fun, especially for us right brain idea people that are more face to face. The operation, connecting the dots, the follow up isn't always the best for right brain versus left brain. And that's a great point. And do I have you for a couple more minutes, Marcus?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Again, if anybody would like to ask Marcus a question, you can either type it in, or if you recall, I'm going to put it in the chat feature right now. You can type in, or you click on that link that's in the comment section, and I can bring you on camera. I can bring you in audio wise, and I'm going to show that right on the screen right now. If you are driving, be careful. But if you go to StreamYard.com / I'm not going to say it, it's very long, but it's on the screen right now. And I can bring you on camera to ask Marcus a question, or you can type it in. But Marcus, tell us, everybody, the book. Tell me the best-selling book that you wrote, the name of it, and where somebody can get it.
Yeah, The Success Cycle, Michael. It was published in January of 2020. And it talks about 3 major factors to create success in your own life: ambition, which is creating your blueprint, or AKA being strategic. It talks about drive, which is being inspired to actually make a difference in people's life. And then hard work, being tactical, and then focusing on yourself, not the competition. Yes, you need to know what the competition is doing, but you don't focus every second of the day on what they're doing, because it'll drive you insane. So when you're able to combine ambition plus drive plus hard work, I feel, and then hit the repeat button, you have the best ability or the best possibility to create success in your own life. And I can tell you from experience, being in 2013 September, working as a custodian, making $8.25 an hour, started speaking in 2013, didn't get a paid speaking job until April 2016. And since then, we've worked for over 35 Fortune 500 brands as a speaker. We've done real estate conferences, mortgages, education, you name it. But everything I've done in my life since that rock bottom moment, September 2013, has gotten our brand to where it is today.
3 years. You launched your speaking career, and it took you 3 years to get your first paid speaking gig?
2.5 years to be exact. That's correct.
So how inspirational is this? I mean, you got a former NFL player, and your brother was a stud in the NFL, Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And there were no handouts, right? I mean, you had to work hard, right? WORK, it takes work, and you didn't give up. And so, Marcus, some of the people that are watching here today are, most are licensed real estate agents, but I have some people watching on various streams or watching this replay, by the way. And public speaking, I believe the fastest way to become an expert, a leading authority in your marketplace is authorship, right? So you wrote a book, Success Cycle. We've written several books. Our flagship book, if you will, is Luxury Listing Specialist. But so I do believe a lot of us have an author in us, but public speaking, I think, is the second fastest way to position yourself as a leading authority. And that could be at the Chamber of Commerce. That could be at a Women's Council, a Realtor. That could be unpaid. My first paid speaking gig was unpaid at a Women's Council Realtor event. So you're absolutely right. But I wanted to point that out. 3.5 years, and now you get these opportunities that come towards you. But still, it wasn't easy. And so that's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I want people to understand, Michael, like you said, anything worth having is going to take time and effort. My father taught me that a long time ago. If it's not worth taking the time to invest in it, to actually work for it, then you shouldn't want it anyway, because there's no such thing as an overnight success. Absolutely no such thing.
No, there isn't. Today, and I'll make an introduction for you to the gentleman that is running this conference I'm at, EPM X conference. His father came from Cuba, and he talked about the American gift, how he's so thankful to be here because he knows what it could be like in the other country. Emmett Smith was at dinner last night, and he talked about it as well. He grew up in a poor community, but it's all relative to other parts of the world. And you mentioned to me on our podcast, either during the recording or before, I asked you who's your hero, and you mentioned your father. I would love for you to talk a little bit about your father and your upbringing, and between you and your brother's successes, how you focused on opportunity versus what you didn't have, or victimhood. And please talk us a little bit about that, if you don't mind, Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely. So my father raised my brother and I as a single father from the time I was 8 years old to the time my brother was 14. And then we learned a lot about hard work, discipline, how to be a man, how to respect women, education over sports from our father. He was our North Star. He was our guiding light. He was our best friend. He was the gentleman that taught us everything about how to be a man, how to be a father, how to be a husband. And because we had such strong role model in our father, I call that role modelship to follow. It allowed us to have a nice trajectory, a nice path in our life. And our father did exactly what any great father, any great parent, I feel for that matter, does for their children. Gives them the opportunities to have a better life than they did. Trying to pass it on to our daughters, trying to pass it on to their daughters or sons and our grandchildren, whatever the case that might happen. But again, it's all about sacrifice. And it's all about giving to help people get where they need to go. And that's what our father was all about. He was just very, very giving, very loving. He was very sacrificing what he did. And because of that, right, Michael, my brother and I have now stepped into our roles. My brother was a phenomenal football player, now does nonprofit work, does some radio work, and doing well. I played football. Now I stepped into my role after my failed business. I do speaking, I do coaching, consulting, and I'm loving what I'm doing in my life because our father gave us that opportunity to have a better life than he did.
You know, some really great points there. I appreciate you sharing that. And you know, the presenter this morning, he was awesome. I mean, one of the best introductions to a conference that I've seen. And you know, he did this. I'm Italian, so I use my hands a lot. So he did this, Marcus, where he's like, you know, we always want to point our finger at others, or you know, but he goes, it's tough to point the thumbs at others, right? Because it's tough. Think about it. If you physically try to point your thumb at others, it's tough, meaning the thumb is pointed back at you. Okay, so start looking in the mirror instead of you're relying on others or pointing fingers at others. You know, point the thumbs at you first. Say, what can I do, you know, to get my first paid speaking gig? What can I do? I've been given a crappy, you know, background, or I came from, you know, I was in the dugout where others started on third base. I like using baseball analogies, right?
Sure.
And so what do you focus on expands. And so the mindset is so important. The mindset is so important. And that's one thing that I really gathered from our interview that I really, I really appreciated. And that's why I love interviewing former athletes. I mean, I was a Division II college football player. I didn't go on, and I knew I could never go on to play professional sports, but the lessons I learned on and off the field are lifetime. So any closing thoughts from you today? We didn't have any questions, and this is our we just launched Luxury Fridays, Marcus, in November, but we just switched over from a audio only platform on Clubhouse to now we're streaming it. We're incorporating video, and this I think is our third. When we tried streaming it from a mansion last week, we were in Denver. We did our training in Denver, and we toured a $7 million and a $4.5 million mansion last week, and we tried launching this from that tour last week, but this platform isn't as good on the mobile, and so we had some technical difficulties. So we're getting some great, hey, so good. We're getting great comments, but no question. So any parting thoughts before I go on to a question that Larry had?
Yeah, so I'll just say this. In life, great leaders take people where they want to go. They don't show them or tell them where to go. They take them by the hand where they need to go. You all as realtors need to take your clients by the hand and take them where they want to and need to go. Now, you're never going to pull anybody because you can't make somebody go somewhere. But if somebody wants to advance or wants to find the right house or buy the right house or make the right sale or looking for that right realtor to work with, take them by the hand and take them where they need to go. And that is going to be your competitive edge to get in front of and be one of those differentiating realtors out of the 1.5 million. Like Michael said, you start to stand alone when you're taking your clients where they need to go, not telling them where they should go.
What a great way to wrap up this segment. So powerful. Thank you so much for being on here today. Again, we just released your episode yesterday, episode 174. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, Stitcher, or you can go to luxurylistingpodcast.com, luxurylistingpodcast.com. And Marcus, I really appreciate and look forward to continuing our friendship and our relationship.
Sounds good, Michael. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
All right, make it a great Friday, Marcus.
You do the same.
Thank you. All right, so we did have a question. Larry asked a great question, and I want to make sure I get to that. Where is it? Here we go. So it's a very long question, but Larry Shackman, Larry, thank you for this question. I want to make sure I answer this before we let everybody go. And again, Luxury Fridays next week will come to you at our normal scheduled time, which is 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. But Larry asked, how do you communicate to the seller of a luxury home the typical marketing timeline and keep them engaged throughout what could be a longer marketing cycle? So managing expectations, Larry, for any client is really difficult, but using visuals, it's so important. Using visuals is so important, Larry. So that's one of the things that I would recommend as an agent. You use strong visuals. So days on the market, for example, DOM, days on market. So if the typical home, remember there's 4 price points in most markets. You got entry level or average price point homes. You have entry level or starter price point homes. The second bucket price point is average price homes. The third bucket is high-end homes, and we define high-end homes as 2 times the average sale price for that given market. And then luxury homes I define as 3 times the average sale price in that given market. And so luxury homes take longer to sell in most markets. So you need to manage that client's expectations by letting them know and having good visuals. If you tell somebody, hey, the entry-level homes, the average days on the market is 3 days. The average days on the market for a normal or average priced home is 14 days. They're not going to remember it. You got to have visuals. You got to leave them visuals. I love doing screen capture videos where I'm sending them a bomb video and I have the bar graphs on the screen. So I'm circling and telling them, hey, your home is right here. there's currently 9 months of inventory. So although your friend's home over in, the Arrowhead subdivision might sell in multiple offers in a week, your home over here in Muirfield might be on the market for a year because there's not as many buyers in your price point. And so since there's less buyers, it's going to take longer to sell. So that's a great question, Larry. Thank you for that. Again, we're at the top of the hour. I like to keep these about an hour. Shelly, thank you again for sharing. Yes, Marcus was amazing, wasn't he? And go make sure you go check out our podcast. And if you do get value from our podcast, please leave us a like. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. I'm going to type in, you can go to Luxury Listing Specialist is the name of our podcast. Again, it's just Luxury Listing Specialist. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on Stitcher. And if you go to Luxury Listing Specialist on iTunes, literally you can subscribe to it. Again, if you Google Luxury Listing Specialist, you'll find tons of stuff. You'll find on Amazon, you'll find our book, you'll find our course. So yes, days on market. That's what DOM stands for, is days on the market. But Luxury Listing Specialist, we're going to come to you. Oops, my phone fell again. Again, we are makeshifting over here for our Instagram folks. Our Instagram folks, the best way to go and find this is go to our YouTube channel, Marketing Luxury Group, and hit subscribe. Next Friday, we'll come to you live on there. It's easier to ask questions as well, but we are trying to makeshift and also put it on Instagram because the service I use does not stream, doesn't push this out to Instagram, so we're makeshifting here. So again, for those of you, I had somebody reach out to me privately in the private chat for more information on our designation. If you learn better in person, you might want to come to Texas a month from yesterday, where we're going to be doing our live designation training in Texas. You can go to luxurydesignation.com/Texas, luxurydesignation/Texas. And Larry, to answer your question, days on the market, the days on the market are different for a high-end and luxury home. And that's how you manage your expectations. Your client's expectation is showing them the days on the market for the different price points. Again, my name is Michael LaFido. You guys were absolutely amazing today, watching on Instagram, and those that were watching at home. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Again, until next time, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Keep raising the bar. If you want to hear more about why I left the #1 luxury company and you want to know what we're building and how it's exciting, we're in 50 states and 21 countries, shoot me a note. You can go to joinluxgroup.com, where you'll find out more information. I just put it on the screen. We have a lot of free resources there as well. Joinluxgroup.com. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Until next time, guys, I really appreciate everything you're doing. Keep raising the bar. Have your questions ready. And next week, if you have a stale luxury listing, a home that isn't getting showings or the feedback's negative, please let me know. Type in the URL and we can try to bring it on the screen and share the screen where you guys can see this listing and maybe why it's not selling. That's what we did in Denver. We toured a $7 million mansion at our tour last week during our luxury training in Denver. And Ashley was the listing agent, and she was open to things, which was great. But there was definitely some things that she could do to position the home more effectively. So if you have a listing that's not getting showings, not getting feedback, and you'd like us to do the same thing, make sure you get that to us ahead of time. Again, until next time, my name is Michael LaFido. You guys are great. Go to joinluxgroup.com if you want to hear more about us and our coaching and the events that we're hosting, or you are curious about maybe joining our team. Until next time, my name is Michael LaFido. Make it a great day.